And there's been a lot of talk in this race about how philanthropies and corporations can step in and fill budget gaps. So you've gotten some commitments on that.
I've got a lot of our corporate partners, philanthropic partners, who are very eager to fill in as much as possible. They are waiting to know who the next mayor is and what their priorities are and how they can be helpful. And so everyone knows that home repair grants has always been a priority for me. Affordable housing as well too. Education is going to be a big one that I'll be championing as well as it relates to out of school time and after school programming. But yes, they are eager and ready to step in and to support. And then also, I want to make sure that it's not a gap in the budget, because we never used ARPA funding to fill any gaps, right? It was one-time funding that came to Detroit that we used to put into programs that we knew was going to be gone in 2026. So unlike other cities, we didn't use it to fill shortfalls or, to make up for any deficits. We used it for one-time funding for a lot of programs that have been very successful.
Yeah, that is a really important point. The reality situation, 38% of Detroit households are cost burdened, which means they're spending at least 30% of their income on housing. 1 in 5 spend about half of their income on housing. So it's just a really deep problem. We have some tools. We're putting more funding into these programs, but how long do you think it will really take to turn the corner on this?
On housing in general?
Yeah, and making it so that there's not such a significant portion of the population that's spending most of their paycheck on housing.
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think, one, we have to focus on getting more livable wage, good quality jobs in Detroit. There was also a University of Michigan study that came out a few years during the revenue estimating conference that indicated, I think, roughly 50% of our residents who are working full-time are working below a living wage. And so I think it's the quality of the jobs, it's our ability to build our middle class and raise the incomes of Detroiters that I think is also important. But I think also the more that we can continue to reduce property taxes, cut red tape, and incentivize the develop of quality affordable housing, then we will make more progress in that area.
There's some big zoning changes up for consideration at the council. We'll probably, I assume you guys will probably vote on it maybe before you wrap up business at the end of November. Basically, they would help expand residential zoning districts so that more multi-unit buildings, infill housing on vacant lots. And then there's a really interesting one that came across this week about saving old schools and libraries and other public institutions that are vacant through adaptive reuse strategies. So zoning, not the most interesting topic, but has a lot of impact on the city. How can we maybe further change zoning codes to make some of this easier?
Yeah, and I think just for, average people who are just watching, at the end of the day, we're trying to make it easier for developers to come fast track the development of housing. As you already indicated, it is a huge burden. It's a huge need. We need, I think, roughly 40,000 units of affordable housing. So we got to get it up. We got to get it developed, shovels in the ground, and families into housing units. And one way we do that is if we reduce regulation. Zoning in itself can take a year, 6 months, 2 years, depending on the zoning changes that are required. So if we eliminate that step, we're expediting the development of affordable housing. So it's something I'm interested in looking into. Other cities have done it as well. And as much as we can fast track, like we use a pilot ordinance as example to fast track the development of affordable housing and incentivize it, I think the greater shape we're in to ensure that we're actually meeting the goals and the needs that we have in Detroit.
Have you had much of a chance to look into those 2 zoning proposals that I mentioned? What do you think about those?
I have a somewhat of an understanding of it in a larger scheme of things, and I'm looking forward to diving deeper into it. But overall, I do support, if we can, expedite and make it more of a by right for some of these housing uses in our neighborhoods, that it is usually a win for our communities. Now, I do understand that every neighborhood is different, and some neighborhoods may not want density. They may only want single family. And so I think those are the type of conversations that we do have to continue to have with our communities to ensure that we're respecting the integrity and the wishes of community as well.